Hello everybody, welcome back to another sit down chat with me. I am going to be touching upon some things I talk about in one of my podcast episodes, which was the one that is called Who Hurt You? So if you do prefer to listen to podcasts and you're about to head out the door, then definitely put that one on, because I am going to be touching upon some things I spoke about in that episode, but I wanted to do another video on it since I think it's so important and it's definitely something that a lot of people feel. And it is spoken about, but I want to do another sit down chat about it because this video is definitely something that would have helped me back then and still does help me now, but I've definitely improved my headspace and made it a better place to be. So I want to start by telling a story, which is one, like I said, I touched upon in that podcast episode. I just remember there was this one time, and I was probably around like 19, 20, that sort of age bracket. And I remember I went to the races and I went with a group of my friends, and I just remember we were having a really nice time. We were standing outside just having some drinks, like chatting. And basically I used to work in a gym back at home where most of the people in that area that use the gym use that gym, so I got to know a lot of people through the gym, and there was a lot of people that I knew of or knew of me, but I didn't really know on like a personal level. But anyway, a lot of those people were at the races because it was next door to the gym, this racetrack I'm talking about. So we were kind of mingling and mixing with like mutual friends and getting to know people. And I remember I was literally just standing there minding my own business. I wasn't talking or anything. I was just like listening. I think I've mentioned it before, but definitely in the past I've got a lot better. But in the past I would say that I could be very shy at times. And it was more in particular if I was in a group of people, I tended to more like listen rather than be someone that was like super loud and like speaking up in the group. I was a lot better one-on-one with somebody. So this was one of those situations where I was kind of standing back and just listening, but still having a good time. Like, people do get that wrong sometimes, that they think the person that's being quiet and just listening isn't having a good time, and it's not always the case. Some people do just prefer to be like a listener in the group and still have a good time. But anyway, that's another topic. So that's what I was doing, and we were at the time talking to, I believe, a group of the boys from the gym. And again, I knew of them, but I didn't really know them, but I always thought they were like super nice guys. And anyway, one of them then started talking to me, and I remember him saying, his opening line was something like, you're extremely attractive, but you look like you're going to be very high maintenance, something like that. And that was the first thing he said to me, and I just remember straight away just feeling really like defensive. And when I think back now, I definitely would have handled that, like I probably would have handled it a little bit differently. I don't know if handled is the right word because there was not really anything there, but I would have definitely reacted differently, and I probably would have, now thinking about it, if it was now, made some sort of snarky comment back and then seen if we could get into a conversation and actually like understand like why he said that. But obviously I was very young and I didn't have as much life experiences, and I hadn't really worked as much as I have now on like my mindset and knowing why people say certain things. So I think I probably just responded very defensive, kind of like, why would you say that, like you don't even know me? And I think completely just shut it down and then just didn't talk to him, and then I didn't like him from then on. Like I said, now I would want to understand why he said that, because I do also understand more now that sometimes guys will make those kind of comments because it's a way of trying to intrigue you and talk to you and stand out from the other guys. I understand that now. Like, I'm not going to be too hard on guys because I know sometimes they don't really know which approach to take with women, but at the same time it was so unnecessary and I really didn't appreciate it at that time. And it actually just made me feel really deflated, and just really did play on my mind then for the rest of the time, because I was thinking like, what have I done to let off that impression that I'm really high maintenance when I was literally just standing there like listening? If anything, I was being like the opposite of high maintenance. And I wanted to talk about that, and I wanted to talk about how people throughout your life will constantly make comments like that, and you'll be thinking like, where the hell did that come from? And you'll get yourself in a bit of a spiral to thinking like, what did I say or do that came across to make him think that I am high maintenance? Because you almost want to prove them wrong and be like debate with them, and like I said, prove them wrong and find out, where did this come from? Like, what did I do? And in some ways, going back to what I was saying about how that is a certain approach guys take to try and stand out from other guys, because that's what they want. They want you to question it, and either one or two ways. They want you to question it so that it gets in a conversation with this guy. Like I said, they stand out and then it leads to something, or they just want to put you down. Because what I've learned is what a lot of people also do, and I'm not saying this is what was happening in that scenario, I was using that as an example. There are many other examples I could give, but what a lot of people do is they will say something negative about you, or they'll say something that makes you think you can't do something, and they'll put you down. Because when somebody is being put down, or they're being told there's something that they believe they're not, what you then want to do is prove that person that you are not the things that they are saying, or you can do the things they're saying you can't, which then puts you in a position where you, without realizing, are at a standstill. And instead of just shaking that off and taking it with a pinch of salt and moving on to bigger and better things, and putting your energy elsewhere where you can be growing, instead of that, you are focusing your energy on proving that person wrong, and you stay in the same position. So in this situation, one of the other things that he could have been doing was, and again, I'm just using this example, I'm just breaking it apart so you can relay it onto that thing you're struggling with. Another thing he could have been doing, like I said, is making me want to, it could have been intentional, him saying that, because he wanted me to spiral and put me down and think, oh yeah, maybe I am too high maintenance. Maybe I'll just have to talk to him because other guys are now going to just think I'm high maintenance and not want to talk to me. And people do this a lot. People even use it in workplaces. A lot of bosses will do it. Have you ever felt like no matter what you do, your boss does not think you are good enough, and they're constantly picking out the things you're not doing rather than the things you are, regardless of how many things you are doing right? Now, a lot of bosses will do this whether they realize it or not, because again, they want to put you in a position where you're focusing more on proving that boss wrong, that you can do that thing and you are good enough for the job. They want you to focus more on that and put your energy there so that you stay in the job, rather than thinking, do you know what, screw you, because I know I'm capable of more, and moving on to another workplace to be in a place where they're going to appreciate you more. It's like a tactic people use to keep you there and keep you where they want you to be, without you even realizing that's what they're doing, because you're so focused more on proving them wrong and showing them you are capable. Something else that could have been happening there is, let's put aside all of that kind of intentional stuff, tactic stuff. Another thing he could have literally been doing is being genuinely serious. He felt like I looked like, for some reason, I was going to be high maintenance. Maybe in the past he'd had a girlfriend that looked similar to me, or maybe acted similar to me, that hurt his feelings, cheated on him, left him, whatever it is. So he's now projecting that onto every other gal he comes across that reminds him a little bit of her. Again, it all comes down to projecting their insecurities on you, and that's where that comment is coming from. And maybe it was never ever about you or something you were doing, and it's literally about those things that I am telling you there. Now, also, we don't want to take like the victim mentality, because at the same time there could be something we were doing wrong, and if that's the case, then we do need to take that on board and realize that, because at the same time people do just say things because it really is something you're doing, and they, you know, some people have like a lower tolerance for shit and if you are doing something that's out of line, people will tell you. So sometimes you are actually out of line, which is okay, and you know, you need to realize that and fix it. But a lot of the time, if someone has made a comment and you genuinely don't understand, hand on heart, where it's coming from, ego aside, you're like, I don't understand where this came from, and you feel like nothing you do is good enough, a lot of the time it's about them and not you. And the reason I wanted to do this video, and I did the podcast a while back, was because when I was younger, and like I said, I hadn't worked as hard as I have now on the mindset, how people work, understanding people react a lot on life experiences they've been through or insecurities. A lot of the time people say things they don't mean, which is something I stand by. And that's why now I've really learned to just really not even take on board a lot of things people say, because a lot of people just say stuff they don't even believe or mean themselves, and it's just is what it is kind of thing. At the time I didn't know any of this, so I really was quite young and naive, and I would just believe what people would say. I'm sure we all have that friend, or maybe you do it yourself, that they just believe everything everyone says, and you have to be very careful what you say to them, because they really look into it and analyze everything you've said and take it very seriously, rather than what I say all the time is with a pinch of salt. I'm sure we all have that one of those friends, or we do it ourselves, and that was me back then. So everything someone would say to me, I really would believe and take on board, and it can become very overwhelming because you feel like nothing you do is good enough, and someone always has something negative to say about you. And that was me back then, and so that's why I'm doing this video, because I want you to know it's not always something you're doing. And a lot of the time people really do project their insecurities on you, and it's to put you down, to make you not strive for better things because they're not capable or too lazy to do it themselves. Something I have really learned along the way is it's so important to stick to what you believe in, and say if you're striving to achieve some sort of goal, whether it's starting your own business, building your own business, whatever it is, starting a family, saving up to buy a house, whatever the goal is, if it's something you truly want to achieve and you're working so hard to achieve it, it is so important to block out what everyone else is saying, because the only thing that's going to happen is when you listen to what other people are saying, you're gonna stop working so hard to achieve that goal that you want to, because you're listening too much to all of this outside noise and you're letting it get to you. And what will then happen is, over a period of time, because you stopped that goal, because you listened to what everyone else said, you are going to become bitter. Because I can tell you now, if that thing you're trying to achieve is actually genuinely a very good idea, or it's something that is very it's something that a lot of people want, but maybe it's hard to achieve, over time, when you haven't achieved that because you stopped working so hard to get to that, because you were listening to the outside noise, you are going to become bitter, because these people that were saying that that was not a good idea at the time are then going to probably be doing it themselves and achieving it themselves. And you stopped doing it because you were listening to them, but now they're doing it, and you are now feeling bitter and resentful because you regret so much not just listening to yourself and listening too much to other people. Because as I said, people say a lot of rubbish, and they will say things they don't mean because they don't want you to achieve it and they want to do it themselves, and they'll be working quietly to achieve that whilst telling you, I would never do that, don't do that. Back when I was around 18 to 22, that kind of time bracket, like when I said the first example I brought up with the guy calling me high maintenance, around that time frame was when I was trying to build up my personal training business, and I was working so hard, and quite quickly I become pretty good at what I was doing, and I really was gaining clients. I was getting a lot of people attending my classes, lots of people messaging me for advice, and it was such a feel-good feeling to be the person working really hard and it paying off, and people actually trusting me and coming to me for help and advice and making crazy results. Now, I remember at the time of doing that and working in the gym, I was trying to build up an online platform, because this is when Instagram was very new, and it was at the very start of when people were using it to make money. And one of my things I really wanted to do was to build an online audience so that I could help more people. I really wanted to do online plans and yeah, just help more people, because there was a lot of people that would reach out to me but didn't want to attend the gym, or they were using a different gym to the gym I was working in. So yeah, for me, a massive thing was building an online audience. So I used to post a lot, and I'd post a lot of before and after pictures, physique pictures, workouts, and I was very big on the way you look, because at the time, I'm not shy to say, I loved training because I absolutely loved the feeling it gave me, but I also loved the way I looked when I was training. I felt healthy, I felt good, I felt really confident when I'd wear certain clothes, and I loved training for physique. And I'm not shy to say that, because it's not a bad thing to want to train for the way you look and to look good. There is nothing wrong with looking good. I don't know why there's a stigma around that now. But yeah, I was very much focusing on that. It was very clear that I also was focusing on the health benefits, but because I also focused on looking good and your physique, that clouded a lot of people and made people make quite negative comments about me and the things I was posting. And I would hear loads of rumors about me just because I was posting gym stuff, and it was very new at the time, so not many people were doing it. And because it was new, people didn't really understand it at this time, so they would make up a load of stuff about it, call me names, because I was posting physique pictures, and yeah, just spread a lot of rumors about me. And I remember people even close to me would be like, why do you post the things you do? And so many people would say it to me. I remember just being on a night out, and this guy I didn't know very well, but he worked in one of the other gyms to what I was working in. And he just randomly said to me, look, if you didn't post the things you did, you would get, he said something like, you would get a lot more like men, and you would just come across as a better person, or just something along those lines. And yeah, I would just get comments like this all the time, to the point that I then just made my account private and just stopped posting, because I was just sick of hearing everything, when really that's one of the only things I would regret, is listening to that and putting my account on private and stopping doing what I was doing, because I was really doing very well and I was really building things up for myself. And I do think if I hadn't listened to that outside noise and carried on building up, I could have really made like an online platform for myself, because it was at the perfect timing of when every fitness, I don't like using the word influencer, but I guess that's what they are. Every fitness influencer was really just growing. It was around the time of like Tammy Hembro growing, Chrissy Scheller, I don't know how to say her name, sorry. But when they were just really growing is when I was starting to post stuff. Around the time of Jen Selter, who was just like the first person to go big on fitness pictures. And yeah, I just stopped posting and I made my account private, because I let other people say what they want and I let it really affect me, and I believed it, and I thought, God, yeah, I need to stop what I'm doing. Like, it's making me come across as this horrible person. Because I was young, I didn't understand that people just say a load of shit. I just took everything everyone said on board, and I listened too much to people and their opinions. And now everyone is posting fitness content and making so much money from it. And I'm not looking for fame through doing it, and that's what it was never about. I genuinely loved what I did, and any of my clients will know that I put a lot of work into them, and I loved what I did, and I wanted to make that bigger. I wanted to make my business bigger, and I wanted to help more people, make more programs for more people everywhere. And yeah, that's one of my only regrets, because I believe I could have really thrived even more than what I did, but I let that go because I listened too much of what other people said. And a lot of the people that would make comments now actually post fitness stuff themselves and make money from it, which is funny. But yeah, that was one of my biggest lessons I learned, to never take on board all this negativity. And when someone says not to do something, quite often what they're saying is, I would love to do that, but I don't have the drive to do it myself, so I don't want you to do it. Like, another little thing I've noticed is, I'm definitely one of those people that takes pride in my appearance. I love putting on a bit of makeup, I love getting my nails done, and I just love like feeling and looking good. I feel like, personally, when I like look good and I look healthy and I'm taking care of myself, I feel better and I feel more confident, and I think that then radiates to other people, and they get that energy. And yeah, I'm just definitely someone that takes pride in my appearance, and I love to look and feel good and feel healthy. And I feel like when you're one of those people, I hope you girls will get me, guys as well, definitely guys as well. But if you're one of those people, do you find that there's the other people that don't really take pride in their appearance? They kind of, and they'll say to you, oh, I just don't have the time. Like, you won't even be speaking about makeup or anything, or the way you look, and they'll just look at you and randomly from nowhere say something like, oh, I just don't have the time to wear makeup, or go get my nails done, or this or that. And you're thinking, where did that come from? Like, I never even mentioned anything about the appearance, but they'll just say, oh, I definitely couldn't be like you, like getting that done, doing this and that, like I don't have the time for that, or there's just no point, like, oh, they're so dressed up, why are they so dressed up, you're only going here and there. Do you know those types of comments? And you think, where the hell did that come from? And then it makes you almost feel like less of a human, because you're like, oh, maybe I have too much time on my hands to be, you know, looking presentable and put together. Honestly, sometimes that lingers on my mind after these people make those comments, and I genuinely do think to myself, maybe I have too much time on my hands, like I should be focused on other things rather than putting on some makeup in the morning. But then I'm like, no, because some of the people that say that, genuinely serious, like it's just like at the bottom of their list, like they're going through something. Like, I remember definitely there's been different life events that have happened where I've just felt so low, where genuinely the last thing on my mind was putting on some makeup, and I just did not care when I left the house. But if you're just doing normal life and someone's just randomly saying that to you out of nowhere, again, is that their insecurities coming out that they're just putting onto you? Because they look at you, and because you've got to flip it the other way around, like for them to say that, they must be looking at you and thinking like, she looks put together, like she looks good. But that's like bringing out their insecurity. So their way of dealing with it is justifying to you in a weird way that maybe like a backhanded compliment, or again, like just like a weird way of them dealing with their insecurity, is to try and either justify as to why they don't look put together, or why they're not wearing makeup, or why they don't get their nails done, is to justify that to you, or it's to try and put you down and feel like you're not working hard enough in life, or not prioritizing the things you should. It's just, oh, I don't know, like, it's just funny when you actually stop and listen to what people say to you, and you think about, when you like flip it and think, why, what must they be thinking to say that? It's just very interesting, and that's why I try to live like that, and why I feel a lot like happier in myself since I've been living like that, and a lot more free, and just don't care as much what people say. Is because when you actually stop and listen to why people are saying certain things, it's almost laughable, and you become really like just aware, and it's almost like you can read people and you know what they're going to say and why they're saying it, and it's just kind of funny, really. So yeah, this video is to say it's not always about you as to why people are making these comments. Please, the next time someone makes a comment towards you and you think, where the hell did that come from, flip it and think, what would I be thinking to make that comment myself? And it makes things so much simpler. Instead of getting in your head and spiraling and thinking, yeah, maybe I am what they said, flip it and think, if I made that comment, what would I be thinking in my head to make that comment? And it makes things so much easier to understand, and it will make your life 10 times better, and it will make you, just like I said, take what people say with a pinch of salt, filter out the things you don't want to hear, you don't want to know, you don't want to take on board, and filter out the good things that genuinely help and mean something. And you just feel so much more free and capable to achieve things that you might not have in the past, because you let other people's voices cloud your own judgments of what you're capable of. Guys, you're just gonna feel so much better. I hope this video made sense. I've been feeling so tired recently. I've said this in quite a lot of my videos. I've been feeling so tired. So sometimes when I'm feeling that way, I find it hard to get across what I'm trying to say. But I hope this helps, and I hope it just makes you, the aim of these videos are to make you just think. I'm not here to give you the answers or conclusions. I'm here to make you think and understand things a little bit better, and just make your head a nicer place to be. But yeah, the next time someone is saying something about you that you just think, where the hell did that come from, and you do not believe it yourself, or maybe they are just not even making a comment towards you, but they're talking about their life so obsessively and asking you so many questions about how you do things, where it's like they're trying to pull something out of you, drain the energy out of you, and they're trying to like get you to say something negative about yourself to make them feel better. Whenever you hear any of this, just please take it with a pinch of salt. Think to yourself, what must they be thinking to even say this? And there you go. Just laugh it off. You don't even need to quiz it. Just laugh it off. Just give a simple answer and say, okay. Or if you want to try and understand it, but you're going to end up in a rabbit hole that way, and it becomes very draining to try and understand everyone you come across. You can't help everyone, and you're not going to understand everyone. People are going to misunderstand you, but it's just the way life works. And I just want your headspace to be a better place, and I want you to be able to live your life more freely. So I hope this one helps, and I will speak to you all soon.